The fire burned low, its orange glow trembling against the dark trees, as if it, too, felt the weight of the night. Sparks rose into the sky and vanished among the stars, carrying pieces of warmth into the cold mountain air. It was the summer of 1873, and the camp sat at the edge of a long-forgotten trail in the rocky foothills. Wagons rested in a loose circle, their wooden wheels cracked from years of travel. Horses stood quietly, heads low, steam rising from their backs. This was not a camp of hope anymore. It was a camp of endings. Old Samuel Crow sat closest to the fire. His beard was white as frost, his hands rough and scarred, but steady as he strummed a battered fiddle. The instrument had crossed rivers, plains, and graves with him. The tune he played was slow, aching, and familiar, one that carried memories. Instead of words, around him sat the others. Clara Mayfield pulled her shawl tighter around her shoulders. She had once dreamed of a home with a wide porch and apple trees. Now her dress was patched, and her eyes carried the tired wisdom of someone who had buried dreams beside the trail. Across from her son Henry watched the flames dance. He was only 11, but his childhood had been worn thin by dust, his hunger, and too many goodbyes. Nearby, Elijah Boone sharpened his knife out of habit, though there was nothing left to cut. He had been a soldier once, then a guide, then simply a man following motion because stillness hurt too much. Every scrape of metal against stone echoed like a heartbeat. This was their final night together. At dawn, the group would split. Some would turn south toward mining towns that promised work but little mercy. Others would head east, back toward places that might no longer exist as they remembered. The trail that had bound them together for 2 long years would end with the sunrise. Samuel's music faltered for a moment. He stopped playing and stared into the fire. "I played this song the first night we met," he said quietly. "Back when the wagons were full and the road still felt kind." No one laughed. No one spoke. Clara nodded slowly. "My husband said, 'Music keeps the soul from breaking,'" she replied. Her voice trembled, but she kept going. "He'd have liked this night." Henry looked up. "Why does it have to end?" he asked. "Why can't we just keep going?" Elijah finally stopped sharpening his knife. "'Cause some roads aren't meant to last forever, son," he said. "So they give you what they can. They let you go." The fire cracked loudly, sending a burst of sparks upward. For a moment everyone flinched, as if the sound had broken something delicate. Samuel lifted the fiddle again. It's time the melody changed. It was softer now, slower, like a farewell whispered instead of spoken. The tune carried laughter from earlier days' wet boots by a river crossing. Shared bread when supplies ran low, stories told to fight off fear. Clara closed her eyes. Tears slipped down her cheeks, but she didn't wipe them away. Elijah stared into the darkness beyond the fire, seeing faces he had lost long before this trail. Henry leaned closer to the warmth, trying to memorize the sound, the faces, the feeling of belonging. When the song ended, silence settled heavy and complete. One by one, the others stood. Some shook hands, some embraced. Some could not find the strength to say anything at all. Bedrolls were spread, fires dampened, wagons quietly prepared for morning. Samuel remained by the embers after the rest had turned in. He loosened the strings of his fiddle and placed it gently beside him. The fire was nearly gone now, reduced to glowing coals. He whispered, "Not to anyone in particular. You carried us far enough." At first light, the camp came alive with the soft sounds of departure. Hooves shifted, wheels creaked. Knots were untied. There were no speeches, no promises to meet again. Only nods, brief smiles, and eyes that lingered a moment too long. Henry waved as his wagon rolled east. Clara watched until the figures grew small. Elijah tipped his hat to Samuel before turning south without looking back. Soon the clearing was empty. Only a dark circle of ash remained where the fire had burned. The wind moved through the trees, scattering the last traces of warmth, carrying the echoes of a song that would never be played there again, but would live on, quietly, in every. The heart that had sat beside that fire and learned what it meant to let go,